Evening, everyone. Another planner here to talk to you, Catherine. My name is Andrew. I work with the planning department as well. And I am here to talk to you today about our city's zoning map, the policy map, and how it connects to the zoning map, and the project we're taking on in the coming year to make more connections between the two. So I was always told when you make a presentation, put the most important thing first. If you take anything from this presentation, it's that coming year we are undertaking a pretty massive project to align the zoning to our adopted policy map. So alignment rezoning is the name of the initiative, and it's going to be an important step in connecting our zoning map to the adopted policy map. But to get to the point of what we're going to be doing there, let's take a step back and look at and comprehensive plan's the foundation for all the work we can do in the planning department. It has, you can see the 10 goals listed here. It has lots of guidance and direction for us as a city in making decisions about how we want to grow as a city. And not the least among those decisions was the adoption of the UDO. So our Unified Development Ordinance was adopted in 2022. It's our set of rules that guides development to meet certain standards. So all of the rules in the UDO are applied and mapped out across our city on the city of Charlotte's official zoning. So the elements, the mapping element for the comprehensive plan is the policy map, and the mapping element for the Unified Development Ordinance is our zoning map. So it's important to separate those two. They do different things, and I'll talk a little bit more about why they're different and how they need to be better connected in the future in the slides. But that's the general sort of general layout of the different maps that we use as the city. So, and you will see this term a lot in this presentation, but the rules of the UDO align with the vision of the policy map. This alignment plays out prominently on our policy map and our zoning districts. The policy map has 10 place types that are assigned to each property in Charlotte to guide the future what the property will become over the coming years. And so zoning districts, the chief set of rules for controlling and limiting development to take shape on a property, have been written in the UDO to align with the place type in the comprehensive plan. And you can see the zoning districts listed here and their sort of related aligned place type families. So to help you better understand each of these, the maps that we work with, you need to understand the policy map, changes to this process for changing our city map is done through what we call a rezoning. You have seen these blue Z's prominently displayed all throughout town where there's rezoning. But a rezoning is just a legal term that we use as a city to describe the process of changing the zoning map. And when the city decides, city council decides whether to make a change to the zoning map, they're looking to see if that change is consistent with the adopted policy in our plans. So these rezonings are brought to city council on parcel by parcel basis, depends on sort of who the petitioners and what they build. But the changes are limited to that specific area of the city where there's a proposed new development. So for example, there was a rezoning that you saw on a property with a neighborhood 2 place type. It would only be consistent with the policy for that property to change to N2A, N2B, or N2C. Those are the zoning districts that would be aligned with that place type. So this keeps our land uses and our building forms consistent with the guidance policies in the comprehensive policy map. To explain the inverse, if a property owner has a property that has a neighborhood center place, but wants to rezone to say manufacturing and logistics to allow sort of an industrial use, we would advise that generally ML1 zone would be inconsistent with our adopted policy. So in this way, policy map is helping to prevent changes to the zoning map. So in the month-to-month rezoning process, changes are sort of petitioner-led, like I said, and they're applied parcel by parcel. This process has several limitations. Properties only change when a rezoning petition comes in. By right development that is in line with your zoning district can happen even if that property is zoned industrial, but even if the policy map recommends neighborhood center, that development can still occur in that industrial form. So this leads to sort of a piecemeal and slower realization of our goals. And it's, I think, additionally harder for us as a city to understand where we need capital investments, where we need to upgrade our infrastructure to meet the needs, because the zoning changes kind of come in slowly over time on a parcel by parcel basis. The alignment rezoning, though, will look at the entire zoning map and connect the zoning map to the policy map by suggesting changes to zoning based on our adopted policy. And the benefits of this are, there's a long list, but we kind of summarize here in kind of the three main points. We can comprehensively update our zoning map to allow by right development to happen in a way that is in line with our community goals. And this leads to a more complete realization of our goals in the comprehensive plan, and equips us as a city to better understand where the growth and change is going to happen and provide the infrastructure that's needed to support our growth city. So that was a lot of words. Now it's pictures. This is the best part. So want to bring all this down to a real on-the-ground example. This is a segment of North Graham Street near the intersection of Graham and Statesville. It's across from Camp North End. So most of the properties in this area are zoned to manufacturing and logistics, to commercial. So what this means is that the properties can continue to develop, similar to how you see in this picture here. Big parking lots, not a great walkable area. It's intended for industrial uses, right? It's an employment-based district. But the policy map recommends that this become a neighborhood center. So you can see what a neighborhood center means kind of by this picture here. It's more housing, it's a little more walkable. So even though the property doesn't look like this today, the policy map is guiding the planning department and city council to make changes to the zoning districts over time to make sure that we get places that look like this. So when you add this, to sum it all up, the current development form that's allowed by our school doesn't always align with the vision for how we want to grow as a city. And so making updates to that presents a lot of opportunities. So if our comprehensive plan and our policy map are working to achieving things like increasing our housing supply, aligning zoning is going to allow us to build that much needed housing. And if our plans and policy map want to shorten the distance between your residents and the services where you shop by creating 10-minute neighborhoods, updating zoning is going to allow that to occur. And it may mean that you won't have to get your car and drive to choices. And so over the coming year, we're going to be working to engage with residents and city council and kind of put forward a recommended map for these changes. The general approach is going to be to begin in 2024, and we're really focusing in the first half of this year to meet with neighborhood leaders, to meet with city council and planning commission, and really get their mind wrapped around this and get clear direction from them about how we want to proceed. And then we're going to be coming out with a series of workshops through all of spring of 2024, so April through June. And we're really not making too many plans about the fall. We want to see how engagement goes, what's working, what's not, and tailor our plan for the fall. But we will continue to engage with residents and those where they may own property that's being recommended for a change in zoning, or you may just in the neighborhood where there's sort of adjacencies that impact you. So the final phase of this, though, is going to be 2025. We'll be coming with a set of recommendations, city council for adoption. As you can imagine, this could be over 100,000 properties that might be changed in their zone. So we're not exactly sure what the final adoption process is going to look like, but we're having conversations about that with city council and with other departments, trying to figure out what that's going to look like. So this is our contact information. I would save questions for the end, but appreciate your time. Pass it off.